so tired of micromanaging. How do I train, manage, and lead? I can't find time to be visionary. Head down in the weeds.
I am excited to see the click-through rate and the open rate on this week's podcast. Today, we're talking about how to skyrocket your law firm sales. And I'm so excited to have Sylvia Garibaldi here, founder of SG and Associates. Sylvia, thank you for being here today with us.
Thank you, Molly. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so as you know, I serve law firms very much like you do as well. Give our listeners a little bit of your backstory and why you're so passionate about law, working with law
Yeah,
firms.
yeah. Oh, that's a great question. Well, I guess I started SG and Associates out of the desire to help professionals. So who I serve specifically are lawyers, mediators, and divorce professionals who are looking to grow their practice with, proven marketing strategies, but without having to feel the overwhelm of how do I use marketing to grow my business? How do I do this so that it's successful? And I think for me, it started a while ago when I was working with professionals. I used to work for a very large financial institution in marketing for a large bank. And, I discovered that these professionals really did not have a good sense of how to position themselves as an expert. So it kind of evolved from that level because we really created marketing at a high level, like a bank positioning level. But once it trickled down to the professionals, at that time it was, financial planners, mortgage brokers, and whatnot. They had no clue on how to actually market themselves to start attracting the right clients to grow their own practices. So that's how SG and Associates evolved. And then, of course, we evolved into helping lawyers, mediators, and divorce professionals because they all experience the same type of challenges to grow their practices.
Yeah, and they're all in the personal service industry, right? You're selling
Exactly.
relationship. It's very different than if you were an e-com and you're selling, widgets on Amazon or Shopify or what have you, because you're making it about the product, not about the brand, not about the services, what have you. And I hear this from attorneys all the time. Thankfully, COVID, the greatest gift that they gave to us was that you have to market and you have to embrace sales or you will die. You will be out of business. So, attorneys, for the
100%.
longest time when I got in this industry in 97, you even said the word marketing or advertising or sales. They would freak out and break out in hives and they'd be like, the bar association, you can't do that. You can't do that. They're living in such fear
Yes.
around it. And now it's really about, I'm delighted to see that they're embracing it. So share with us a little bit about what you're seeing with your private clients and within your practice of getting attorneys to really make that shift into embracing, number one, from a mindset, from a language, what have you, this term sales and
Sales.
and
Yes.
and what you're seeing that they're doing that'll really skyrocket their sales, which is revenue.
Yes. Yes. That's a great question. So I think one of the key issues that we're seeing right now is that there is, and I think this has been there for a while, is this fear of marketing themselves. There's a little bit of that imposter syndrome from a mindset perspective. Am I doing this right? Am I going to be judged? What are people going to be thinking of me? What will my colleagues say when they see me marketing myself? And maybe I have to put a picture out there of myself or a video, and I may use the wrong words. And there's just the fear is substantial. And it's more, I think, of a rejection point of view that they feel they're going to be judged. And I think that's the first hurdle that many professionals face. And in all the years that I've been running my business, I still see it today. It's still a huge issue. So once they overcome the mindset block of, okay, I'm ready to get the message out there, because if my message is not out there and I'm not online, then the people who need my help most won't be able to find me. And if they can't find me, I can't serve them. And if I can't serve them, then they can't resolve the issues or problems that they're looking for. And I can't, be seen and as an expert to bring in more clients. Because at the end of the day, they are passionate about helping their clients, but they also recognize that they're running a business. And if they're running a business and they don't have enough clients, it's not a business.
Right.
So that is one of the key challenges, I think, is just, mindset. And then once they overcome the mindset, it's like, okay, so how do I get myself out there now? How do I start to market myself in a way that feels authentic to me so that, it generates sales? So, I mean, there's a series of things, but I think one of the bigger issues is that they just really don't know who they're targeting or who their ideal target market is. And that's foundational 101 marketing. If you don't know who you're going after, how can you find them? And if you can't find them, then they can't become a client. So I think getting really crystal clear on who your ideal client is, and I usually refer to them as two types of ideal clients. The first one is your ideal end client, which is the paying client. And then the second is your ideal referral partner client. Because as a professional, as a legal professional, as a lawyer, as an attorney, you will always have two clients. One is the paying client, and then the other is the referral partner client, which is the lifeblood of any professional practice. You need to market each one differently in order to get their attention. So that's another key thing that I see is missing, is that they do not know how to market to their end client and their referral partner client, because most times they don't know who they are, or they're not making that distinction about their ideal target markets, those two that I've referred to. And then I think the third thing is just getting out there and being consistent with the right type of marketing that's going to get them to skyrocket their sales. If that
Yeah, so it really, and I'm going to break this down in a minute, but to skyrocket your sales is that it all starts and ends with visibility and marketing, is what I'm hearing you say.
100%. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the right leads, and I think a lot of times, so the fear of being seen and this visibility and what have you, one of the favorite things that I love that I hear from a lot of marketers is that you have to get your tunnel vision. You are not marketing to your high school friends or your college friends or the people that you're connected with on Facebook. You got to shut off the noise of the gremlins and being worried about that. And to your point, one rule of thumb that really helped me when I started getting visible is don't look at your own content. Don't review it. Don't listen to your podcast. Don't read anything. Just get it out there and have a social media manager that is posting all your content, what have you. Don't look at it. Don't review it, what have you. And then let's look at the results. So if you have 2 million, I have an attorney who just launched her first video and she had 12 million views in less than 24 hours on her video. And they got
That's
something
fantastic.
like the phone was ringing off the hook, what have you. She was interviewed on one of her referral sources and power partners. And now she is a queen she's like, okay, I'm doing my weekly videos. I'm doing what have you. I don't even care. I'm not going to look at them because the numbers don't lie.
Yes.
The numbers don't lie. So when you're looking at that, I'll hear a lot of times from attorneys too. It might be a cop out, as to say, my clients aren't online. I get most of my business from referral sources. I would never hire someone off a video or social media posts or what have you. I'm like, really? How did you wind up on my calendar for a sales call then?
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hear that a lot. So almost like fake it till you make it. Everybody has imposter syndrome. Everybody can
Absolutely.
be their own worst critic. But until you get it out there and start looking at the results, the open rate, the click-through rate, the engagement rate, whatever it might be, it's all based in fear and unknown.
Yes, 100%. And I think that, you know, your point about putting yourself out there and just putting on the blinders and just continuing to move forward and forgetting about what your competition is doing or assessing what you look like or what you say, in your social media. That's precisely why we do done for you social media marketing for lawyers, because they don't want to be involved in it and they don't want to have to, review it and think about what's the outcome going to be, or how am I going to be judged. Same thing with LinkedIn lead generation. When we're booking referral partner meetings for our clients, they don't want to have to go out there and send a message because there's this fear of thinking, well, what if this person doesn't answer me? Or what if this person says no? Then it just becomes another level of rejection. So that's why we offer a few of those done for you services exactly to overcome that issue that you've just identified. So it is real. And, I mean, I think it's a combination of mindset, but also lack of strategy. I mean, they don't do this full time. What they do full time is law. And so, they're going to rely on experts to do what experts do well. And some want to do their own, which is fantastic, but then they need to just sort of, start absorbing content of marketers and getting involved in, courses or things like that so that they can start to do their own if that's something that they want to do.
Yeah, and I think I'd add a third piece. It's mindset, number one, strategy, but it's also creation, content creation or curation. So hiring a professional like you that asks the powerful questions, that understand the avatar client, their ideal client that they want, in regards to that, then you can take it from there and do the content creation and all that for
Yes.
them. So
Yeah,
that's a lot of
precisely. So
times the blank white page causes paralysis sometimes. I'll hear that all the time. What am I going to say in a blog? What would I say in a video? I'm like, that's when you
yes.
go back to your intake team and you meet with them and bring them into your weekly marketing meeting, because we
Yep.
want the voice of the customer. We want to review your sales meetings that you had and figure out who engaged us and what made them engage. Made it so seamless and simple and easy. And for the ones that didn't, what are their objections, so we can create a video to speak into those objections, right?
Mhm. Yes, yes. And another key thing that I would add to that is, they're usually focused on their end client, but they're not also thinking about the referral partner client. So when we do this kind of writing, we'll write for the referral partners so that, if I'm a family law lawyer and one of my ideal referral partners are therapists, we will write about what therapists need to know about family law, or if they're a family law mediator, what does a therapist need to know about mediation, or what does a therapist need to know about collaborative law if they're a collaborative law lawyer. So really getting to the messaging for each is very different because their needs are different. And so I think when writing social media, as you mentioned, that they need to look at both so that the messaging, they can start attracting both, because both are really a source of income for them, because the referral partners are bringing in the referrals, and then the end client is paying for the service. So
Yeah, and absolutely. Not only that, but depending on your connections on social media, sending this type of content out through your email marketing, what have you. I'm just thinking, while it's written for the referral source and partner, I'm thinking if I'm a client and I'm on your list and I'm receiving this and I'm in therapy and I'm like, oh my God, my attorney really is very collaborative. They're already thinking about bringing all of my helpers together and what my therapist needs to know, and might forward that email to my therapist, and they're not even an existing referral source.
yeah, exactly. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So what else are you seeing? So you got your visibility. You're just gonna do it. You're just gonna commit and make certain. You hire professionals to support you with the content creation, with the strategy, with the deployment of the content and things of that nature. So this is what you see in your law firms when they go from stagnant and stuck and no visibility and what have you to visibility. Walk us through kind of like the journey, if you will, of where you see really they get that proof of concept where, when you start to see your sales increase, your leads increase and what have you, I would assume your confidence goes up and your toleration for what the gremlins are saying and other people dissipate, because at the end of the day, you're meeting and exceeding your revenue goals.
Yes. So I think, once they start to see some traction, you're absolutely right. That's when the excitement begins and they feel like there is a solution to helping them grow their practices. But I think for some of them, there's a lot of, I guess they're unsure of marketing, right? Anybody making an investment in marketing is like, well, is this going to work? What's the ROI? What am I going to get out of this? And so I think confidence and just, putting yourself in the space where, if I'm not marketing myself, where is my business or practice going to be 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now? If I'm still an unknown entity amongst, everyone out there that's looking for the type of service that I offer, how's that going to help? Like, where am I building my legacy? So I think they start to realize that marketing is, in particular, online marketing, online visibility is really a non-negotiable. It is like the bare minimum that professionals need to have in order to just start growing and creating a practice that lasts a lifetime. Because really, depending on when people want to retire or when they want to sell their business, they really need to look long term and know that marketing is a long term game, right? It's, there is ads, for example, that people think they're going to get quick wins, and sometimes you do. Ads are tricky. I know ads are something that we don't offer. We're not specialists in that, and I think it's important to make sure that if you are going to go the ad route as a quick win, that you are investing in the right people to do that type of work, because it is tricky work. And yes, you can get some quick wins, but organic marketing is really where you see the long game of marketing and building that reputation over time. And that's what we specialize in, is in the organic marketing part of growing a practice.
Yeah, and I love that you said that, because so often I will hear attorneys say, we don't really need any more leads. We get so many leads from our referral source. That isn't our biggest pain point. And so I don't need to be digital. I don't need to be social. I don't need to be organic. But to your point, like, yeah, but even if that financial advisor Bob tells the client that they need to come see you, guess what everybody's first step in anything is? Pull up the Google machine and type it in. And if they see that you have 2 Google reviews versus the guy or gal, or the 5 guys or gals within 10 minutes of your office that are running ads and have 387 Google reviews, and they have a digital and social, they look like a thought leader. They're putting valuable content out there and what have you. And then they call your office and your intake team, they go to voicemail, or you have no system or process for your intake team, you're harming yourself. So it gives you that up. And going back to selling your practice, begin with the end in mind, because hopefully that's everybody's goal, is to sell their business at one time. And be able to think about that, because it's one of the assets in the valuation in regards to that. Because if you don't have a visible digital and social footprint, then you have a brain surgeon model. And when they buy your practice and remove you from it, there's really no value, because it's all about just you doing one and dones there.
Yes, very true. And something else we're seeing as well is um, a lot of lawyers are coming back and saying, hey, I used to get so many referrals, but they're not converting anymore. Why is that? And we can point, straight to the answer of lack of online visibility. So, gone are the days where you will get some really great referrals and then there's instant conversion, meaning they become a client. That's not what we're seeing as much anymore, because it usually points to the fact that they're not visible online. So let's say you're highly referred from a friend or a family member, or a client, and they're referring to you, and yet they come in for the meeting. Sometimes they don't even make it to the meeting, like they may not actually even book the meeting, because they're searching you online. And if they're not finding curated content that tells the prospect about who they are, what they believe in, maybe they were a guest on a podcast, maybe they had an article published in an online industry service, so they're looking for all these things. They want to look reviews, Google reviews. They are doing their research first. So even though you are highly recommended, if I'm doing a Google search and I don't find enough information about you, they'll never actually even make it to the meeting itself. So that's another big problem that we're seeing. And so we're telling a lot of attorneys that we're working with is, look, we've just done a Google search on you and there's a lot missing here. That could be one of the reasons why you're not seeing that conversion as much as you used to, if that makes sense.
It does. And I'll add another piece of that as the rabbit hole. So they put your name in there, but they're not seeing your Google reviews. They're not easily finding you because Facebook, LinkedIn, they all own this space. So if you're posting there, your Facebook page is going to come up on the half of the fold. But your competition that is taking this very seriously, you run the risk of them clicking on the things that they have right there, front and center and visible. And then now they've gone down the rabbit hole and they completely forgot their original reason of going there. So now you're dust in the wind. And especially if they have free ebooks to opt into, a free workshop or webinar to attend, an easy way to get into our funnel, click here and book a complimentary 15-minute discovery call, whatever it might be, the chances of them going back because they're getting their immediate needs met. And if you don't have all those funnels and visibility, that's how you lose it.
Yes, very true. Very true. So that's something else we're seeing as a challenge today in today's online world.
So it's that simple. Let me just clarify in regards to how to really skyrocket their sales, whether they're coming from, I'm even hearing from you, more importantly, if you have a referral based business, now more than ever, that you really want to make the referral source doing their job. Call Sylvia. She's the best. She's the only one that I would recommend. But when they go and do an online search and they can't find you and they get distracted by others and go down the rabbit hole. So it's really, you're doing both, protecting your referrals that are sending referrals to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then in addition to capturing new leads through digital, social, and your past clients, right? So, because they will forward everything and anything. Oh my God, this is my attorney. This is an amazing article. We were just talking about this at the luncheon yesterday.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It sounds simple, but it's harder to actually pull together, but it is absolutely a necessity for any professional that's looking to grow a practice.
So when you use ROI, what do you tell your clients when they do finally embrace this and get started? I'm sure they will say to you, how long before I see a return on my investment? What should I expect and by what time frame? And what would be your answer to that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I always like to, caution people and say, well, it depends on so many factors, just like, an investment. Like how much am I going to get on my, you know, uh, stocks, or what's the return I'm going to get on my stock? It's hard to manage, but there's a few things that you can look for. One is, consistency is something that will always breed results. How long it will take is unknown. So, for example, let's take social media as one of the strategies to use. If you're posting consistently for, let's say, a week, you're not going to see results. Let's just be real and honest about that. If you're posting consistently for 2 months, you may not still see results. You're starting to build awareness, but it's not necessarily converting into a client quite yet. So it is, I would say a minimum of 6 months of social media. Then you'll start to see some traction. But I'm going to add another layer here. How well known are you already, right? So if you are an attorney that has been out there for, let's say, 20 years and people know you, you've got a good LinkedIn base. If we're looking at your LinkedIn, for example, you may get faster traction with your social media than someone else who's starting out. Exact same set of social media posts, but you're starting from a different level of credibility, if that makes sense. So someone, that's been in the business for a while and does consistent social media, they may start to see results in 2 or 3 months or even sooner because they already have that base. So that's something else I look at is how long have they been in business? How well known are they already? That's another factor. If you're looking at something like, a really great tool that we like to help our clients use are the use of webinars or online workshops to grow their practice. That could be an immediate result. That could be you put on the workshop today and tomorrow you have 4 consultation calls.
Yes.
So that's not unusual for that to happen. So that's kind of like an instant ROI if you can get them to convert, right? So that's important too, doing the follow up and continuing the conversation, asking the right questions. All of that can lead to a positive ROI. So for example, if you're a newbie doing a webinar, you may get 0 consultations. If you've been someone that, a lawyer who's been in business for 5 years and you do a webinar, you may get 2 or 3 consultation calls. And out of those 3, how many actually convert? So what's your conversion rate? Maybe it's 1 out of 3, 33% that's going to convert, right? So that's the kind of thing that we can't determine the ROI. We can give you high level numbers of what to expect. But sometimes it really depends on all those factors. Like how long have you been in business? How good are you at conversations for conversion, when you're having those
Yes.
prospecting meetings. Another great way to see instant ROI that we've seen a lot of success with is pricing and packaging. That can be, you can get an instant ROI. And we've done that with a lot of our clients where they've gone from hourly to a flat fee package. And so, we may work with them this week, and then next week they've already got their pricing and flat fee in order. And, they've increased their hourly, or they've increased their hourly is built into the flat fee. It's kind of like a
Yes.
difficult conversation to really get into all of it. But so let's say they increase their end price for their service, they could see a positive ROI the following week when they have a consultation call.
Yes, absolutely. I want to add one more thing because I'm a huge fan, and my listeners know this, of webinars and or workshops. Educate to motivate. That is the easiest way to get a call to action. But one thing, I'll hear from attorneys all the time. I outsourced my marketing because so and so was crushing and skyrocketing their sales or leads, what have you. I hired the same company and they've got me jack crap. It's not,
Mhm.
they got the leads to the workshop or the webinar or to download the free book, whatever the CTA call to action is. And I'll say to them, can you send me the last 10 minutes of your webinar or workshop recording so I could see it? I just want to see 10 minutes of the opening and 10 minutes of the close. I'm like, you killed it. You did not close the room at all. You were very suggestive. Oh, if you'd like to come see us, come see us. And so to your point, there's I've seen newbies where they will FDS, follow the damn system, always be closing throughout that 1 hour workshop, what have you. They'll
Yep.
crush the close and have a jam-packed calendar full of appointments for 2 weeks
Mhm.
straight. Because so it's really a two-sided street and power and
Yes.
partnership when you're hiring a marketing, if you want the results that your buddy, friend, colleague that you're seeing on Facebook or what have
Yep.
you, it's not just about lead generation, it's also lead conversion, which if you're doing the workshop, the presentation, the videos, you have to always be closing and driving people to that next step in your process.
Yes.
Does that make
And I think
sense?
having that strong, yeah, it totally makes 100% sense. And I think it's also having that strong call to action that gives them a reason to connect with you. Like, tell me why I should be, signing up for a call with you, or tell me why I should be downloading and giving my email address for that lead magnet that you've just pulled together. Like, why do I need it? How is it going to help me? And I think, one of the key mistakes people make is they'll just say, oh, so if you're interested, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to have a
Yes.
conversation with you. But that's too vague, and it doesn't give, the person a reason why they should connect with you further for whatever your call to action may be. Or you're going to have an upcoming webinar that they should sign up for. Well, why should I sign up for that? How is it going to help me? And I think they're not clear on that concept of how to get people to really sign up. And I think another key issue with workshops and webinars is the marketing. Like, not enough people show up. And if you can't get enough people to show up, you know, it's a numbers game, period. That's all I can say about webinars and workshops. Yes, the content has to be solid. That is a given. And you need to have a very strong call to action. You need to be seeding your concept throughout the entire presentation. But you also have to be able to get enough people to show up. And I always say the hardest job is not delivering the workshop or the webinar. It's the marketing. It's the pre-marketing and the post-marketing and the
Yes.
follow-up. That's where everything happens.
I love that you call it post marketing because you're still marketing until they engage. You are still, dating them, courting them, intriguing them,
Yes.
attracting them. And to your point, yeah, it's a marketing problem. People have said, I tried workshops, they didn't work. I had a client yesterday who was supposed to do a workshop and he said they can't, it's canceled. No, but there were 0 registrations because somebody was not managing the marketing team, the paid advertising Facebook ad company,
Right.
and realized that they never launched ads.
Right. Oh boy.
Yeah, which you see happen all the time. And so the pain points, people, that you're seeing in regards to why you're not reaching and exceeding and skyrocketing your sales, hopefully you have pages and notes after today's episode to really anchor. Be completely honest with yourself. Am I visible? Do I have a digital and social footprint? Regardless, especially if you have a referral-based business, because the clients, prospective clients, are still Googling. They still want data and information. And so we don't want them to get sucked into the rabbit hole of your competition that is digital and visible and just really getting out there.
Yes. Yep. Totally agree. I think those are a lot of the key areas that they need to focus in on, and to just know that marketing is long game. It's, especially organically when you're growing this, it takes time, it takes patience, but if there is no consistency, you will never get the results fast enough. Because without consistency, it is very challenging to get the results, period.
Yeah.
Um, so I think being out there and being there on an ongoing basis so that people can find you and learn from you. And it is, it's serving first before selling.
I love that. So talking about finding you, Sylvia, tell our listeners what's the best way to learn more about you, your amazing podcast, and the work that you're doing. I know you offer free workshops and things of that nature. So tell our
Yes.
listeners where you best would like for them to connect with you.
Sure. So first off, we do have a podcast. It's called the Serve First, Sell Later Marketing Podcast, and that's all marketing for lawyers, mediators, and divorce professionals. And they can find that on any platform. So we are on Apple, Spotify, and so many more. So feel free to Google that and find that. And the next place would be LinkedIn. So we have a very updated and powerful presence on LinkedIn.
Yes.
So we have so many free resources. We do weekly newsletters that they can subscribe to. So just finding me on LinkedIn and connecting with me would be a great place for us to continue the conversation. And then, yes, we do have a monthly workshop, which runs for 2 hours. And that is a great place for you to learn more about how to market your practice. So we generally will market those on LinkedIn. So you can find out, we do LinkedIn events so that you can see where our next workshop is happening. But we do those once a month and they're always well attended. And we have some great engagement. People are learning and walking away with a blueprint of what they need to do.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for doing that. Such a need in the legal space. So I'll put in the show notes, your podcast, your LinkedIn profile, all the goodies of how to stay connected with Sylvia. And thank you so much for being our guest today. Attorneys, no more head trash around being visible. It is time to get there, especially if you want to sell your practice, which should be in your long game goals.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Molly. It was such a pleasure.
Oh, indeed. Thank you. All right. Until next time, continue being legal leaders, leading legal leaders. Welcome to another episode of the Office Altering Hire and Empower with Molly McGrath podcast. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. If you're a first-time listener, hopefully you'll become a long-time listener. As always, I'm your show host, Molly McGrath, founder of Hiring and Empowering Solutions and creator of this revolutionary podcast. You can check us out at hiringandempowering.com.